He was behind it. That's another one. So this started just a year before I met him, when I was still single. I was single for some time. I raised my two wonderful sons as a single parent. I write about that in the Listen to Your Mother book, the compilation. I write a little bit about that. My son Avi and Ann have a little guy, Ezra, and then my son John got married to Kristen. Now I have a blended family. I have Wendy and Jay and wonderful Daniel, who's 14. So my world has expanded. But anyway, I was single then. I had returned from a date from hell the day before. I had read about a group that was advertised at Borders. It was a group for writers. I've been a writer all my life. So I wrote a page and a half. I whisked it off the printer. I ran to Borders. There was a whole group of men and women, all ages, whatever. I sat down, I got up, I read it. Everybody was hysterical. I said, I didn't even think it was funny. Like, this is my life. I don't understand why you're laughing so hard. Okay. And then they said, we want to know more about the therapist. We really want to know about her. I said, really? You're interested? I said, okay. And they were like, we just never thought about that the therapist is thinking thoughts about things, you know, when people are talking to her. And boy, that's interesting. Oh, I said, and you know, I mean, the therapist should be as neurotic as the clients? Yes. Oh, yeah. So back I went, and I began to write. But in the beginning, first of all, I work full-time. Now I've cut down to 4 days, but I've worked full-time as a social worker at the Ronald McDonald House for 17 years. So I have a very intense job that has nothing whatsoever to do with this, which is quite a lighthearted thing. And that's part of the reason it's lighthearted. So I began to write, and really, I guess in the last 5 or 6 years, it's been really important and really central in my life. I always believed I would finish it. I didn't always know it would be a novel. At the beginning, I did not think I was writing a novel. I just thought I was writing a little essay. I just kept going. I didn't write it in any kind of classic way. I wrote the beginning. Actually, I changed the beginning, thanks to someone I'm going to mention too, my wonderful editor, who's here hiding somewhere. Here he is. Not everybody has an editor that went to high school with one of their kids, but it's the truth. He's obviously brilliant, so, and funny, and gets everything, got the whole story. So, you know, I just sort of kept going. So if a middle came to me, it came to me. And a scene over here and a scene over there. I'm not recommending it necessarily, and I don't think I would ever write that way again, I don't think. But that's just the way the book came to me. It did make it harder in the organizing. I had a wonderful little book group, writing group that was very wonderful to me and kept me going. And lo and behold, it began to really take shape. And from the beginning, it was comedic. It's just my voice. That's the way I am. It's the way I deal with things. So it was humorous. And, you know, that's how it unfolded. I'm going to do a little bit of a reading. And I did want to tell you a little bit about the fact that a year ago, just about, I was here in this wonderful bookstore, which I know some of you have never been here before. It is terrific. They'll get you any book you want. It's just a great thing to have in our community. So I was here, and there was a contest. Ruth was here with me, called the Pitchapalooza. 2 New York doctors, they call themselves book doctors, came from New York. They picked me as the winning pitch. And I was very excited. I got to be introduced to a New York agent. The New York agent loved the book, but felt that it would be very hard to sell. And part of it was the comedic voice, interestingly, and part of it, I'm sure, was because my protagonist had just turned 50. And that's not the norm, difficult. I said, okay, I'm going to do it on my own. That's when I pretty much decided. I could have kept up the agent route. I'd been trying a while to get an agent. I just decided to publish it myself. That has been a journey of discovery. There's a lot to learn. I never would have done it. Oh my God. My son John did all the technical things, and Kristen with the PR, and Avi and Ann with the editing, and everyone in the family just sort of plugging me along. But we made it through. Create Space and Amazon, they were wonderful. But finding a genre for it, you know, there's that genre called chick lit, like Jennifer Weiner, who writes her wonderful stories. She's in that genre. And she writes, that's another story about that. Some people don't take that seriously either, because it's like a woman's genre. But my genre, when I looked it up, it was called Hen Lit. Then the other names, Matron Lit and Hag Lit. I'm like, okay, my Lydia does not belong on a dinner plate like a hen, that's for sure. And she's not like the crone who woke people up in Sleeping Beauty, that's for sure. And it raised my ire. So I think men, they have something called fiction. I don't see why it's not good enough for women. That's my feeling. I don't know why we have to categorize everyone, and of course women by age. I did a search in literature. I couldn't find quite another protagonist like Lydia. She's smart and sexy and savvy and fun. And she's like not thinking about menopause or whatever else. She's still looking for a man. She's single, been single 12 years, and still clueless about finding a romantic relationship. So that's part of my journey. I talk about it on my blog, and I hope that you guys will check out my blog. It's in the back of the book. It tells you what it is. I'm not always the best about posting, but I'm getting better. So I was going to do a little bit of a reading for you. This is one little piece is from, Lydia's boyfriends. You know, they come to see her and talk to her about, not necessarily about why her relationship with them failed, but what's going on with them in terms of their relationships. So this is the first guy. His name is Barry Marmelstein, and he's an orthodontist. So Lydia said, "Tell me why you answered my ad on Facebook." She's trying to find her former boyfriend. "He flashed the perfect white teeth that were his best advertisement. I was curious and wanted to check you out, you know, after all these years." He hesitated and then he added, "But mostly I'm here because I haven't had a relationship for 3 years since my second marriage fell apart." Second marriage? I couldn't believe it. 2 women had actually been foolish enough or desperate enough to marry him? "I just can't seem to find the right person." "What do you mean?" "I never seem to get past the second or third date anymore. I meet someone, go out with her once or twice, and then it's over. I call, she doesn't answer, or she says she's busy and she's back with her old boyfriend. I don't get it. I mean, I've always had a way with women." He winked. "I bet you remember that." I winced inwardly as I remembered our few sexual encounters. Truly, it hadn't been his cheapness alone that had prompted me to end the relationship. Making out with Barry had been about as much fun as having your braces tightened without any of the benefits, like ending up with a great smile on your face. "I guess I'm here because I'm looking for insight. Your insight. I thought you might be able to help me figure out how to find the kind of woman I've been looking for. Someone who's going to hang in there for the long term, or at least longer than, you know, the first date. Do you have any ideas about how to change things?" "Well, I was thinking about joining a yoga class," he said. "I had a friend who did. He was the only guy in the class, and he loved it, but I'm not sure yoga would work for me." "Why not? It's a great way to relax, and you could meet a lot of women." "Yeah, but it's so expensive." Drops of sweat broke out on his forehead. "My friend told me it cost him $100 just to join the damn place, and then he had to pay for every class." Gee, that sounds familiar, Reese. Now that I think about it. That was right, isn't it? And my husband, he likes it when they get the free pizza because he figured out at Planet Fitness that if he adds in the free pizza he gets, then really he's not paying the $10 a month because he's getting it back in pizza. This, may I introduce you to Steve. I love him with all my heart. My life's not boring. And then I'll just read you one little thing about Lydia and her mother. So her mother finds out that she put this ad in. So she calls her mother, and she says, let me just see. Did I get the right place? Yes, I did. Okay, so she said, "Mom, is something wrong?" She had just spent the day with her, and she thought she was kind of quiet. "No, everything's fine. I'm just feeling a little sorry for myself. I have too much time to think." My mother was the busiest senior citizen around. She met her closest friends, Sylvia Sondheimer and Ethel Blum, for lunch at least twice a week, played mahjong at the senior center every Tuesday, and bingo at the Jewish Community Center every Thursday. "But you have so many friends. You're with people all day long." "Exactly. I'm surrounded by people all day long and by myself all night. I've been alone a long time, Lydia. A long, long time. That's why I was wondering." "Wondering about what?" "About that research project you started. I didn't like the sound of it at first, but after I thought about it for a while, I decided it's not such a bad idea at all." "Thank you, Mother," I said, knowing she was oblivious to all forms of sarcasm. "Well, I just hope you're keeping me in mind." "Keeping you in mind?" "For heaven's sake, Lydia, I need a man around here. Maybe one of those men you're interviewing has a father who's a widower, someone who's just as lonely as I am and looking for companionship." "Are you asking me to fix you up?" "Yes, I guess I am. You can't fool me. You're hoping one of those men will work out for you, so why shouldn't there be someone for me, too?" "Mother, I can understand you're feeling lonely. If you feel you're ready to meet someone, that's great. But you don't understand what my research project's about. Most of my ex-boyfriends weren't Mr. Right to begin with and won't be now either. I'm interviewing them as research for an article, not to convince them to date me again." "All right, if you feel that way, I guess I'll have no choice but to consider Irving." "Irving? Who's Irving?" "Irving Melnick. He joined the Golden Years Club a couple of months ago. He's been asking me out, but I've been resisting." "Why?" I was relieved that her feistiness had returned, but worried that Irving might be the senior citizen version of Ted Bundy. She lowered her voice. I think he's just looking for sex. This is great, I thought, as I contemplated hitting my head against the wall. I'm sleeping alone, and my mother's going to be some 80-year-old's sex toy. Thank you all for coming. So I don't know if you have any questions. Thank you. I hope you'll read it and enjoy it. The other thing about, for me, is my pet peeve is I like books that are happy to be happy. I don't want to start a book that seems happy and 3/4 of the way through the main character dies of cancer and someone else is in a plane crash, and that's not going to happen in this book, thank you God.
Spoiler alert.
I love heavier books and whatever, but...
You don't like Irish novels?
Yeah, Irish novels. Leave me to the Irish, leave me alone. So, there is some angst in here, and I just wanted people to have something that they could really relate to and have fun with. So if you have any questions, and please, if you love it, spread the word. The biggest thing about self-publishing is the marketing. My little Kristen's working on it. We're all working on it. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time and energy, and I'd appreciate it if you just help out in any way. If you have a book club, let people know, that kind of thing. It may seem lighthearted, but there are things to talk about. So, I don't know if you have any questions, but thank you all for coming.
It's a good reading.
So
It reads really nicely. It's different when you read it yourself, and then when you read it out loud, it has a different feel to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I guess. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So.
Excuse me,
Yes, Mr. Reese.
can you just sit there for a moment with the
We were trying to take a picture of you reading the book.
book? And, well, everybody who has a book, will you put it up in the air?
Here, hold one of them. Here, Daniel, hold one of them.
Wait.
Here.
I'm happy to. Is that fast enough?
Now, those in the back, will you hold the book up a little bit higher?
A little lower.
Thank you very much.
That's what happened.
She has a question.
Yes, a
Yeah, I'm
question
speaking
from
to somebody
Joni.
else when I'm speaking.
But she always did. We took graduate class.
We took graduate, but I was always the one that had to speak. How did you and your husband meet?
Well, the person that introduced us is supposed to be here, but she's not. But he's a photographer, portrait photographer. He took a portrait of one of my friends I went to graduate school with. He was just getting separated. And she said, boy, I think I know someone you might like. And then he ended up living right where we do now at Oak Hill, but he was in the towers. And I was right there. So it was
Wonderful story, thank you for telling me.
I'll tell you the truth.
Now let's self-publish this.
Later.
If people wanted to order additional copies of
They
the
can-
book,
the bookstore would be happy to get them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave some here. And then it is on Amazon. It's on, and the Kindle version is too. Yeah, it is. Yep. Either way, but they're happy to order them here, or I'll have some available.
Are you gonna do
I'll leave some here, and they'll be happy to sell them to you.
Are you gonna do an audio book that you read?
I'd love to, but I don't know how that would work. We'll find out.